Hi guys, welcome to T20 Daily. I'm here at the Harbour Lights in beautiful Barbados. The sun is shining, I can tell you that firsthand. With me today, special guest, Shakera Selman, former Women's International West Indies cricketer and 2016 World Cup winner as well. Shakera, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be taking part in anything discussing cricket.
Okay guys, don't want to preempt her many roles. I'll just give you a few. TV presenter, coach, women's administrator here on the island of Barbados. What have you been up to?
Pretty much hit the nail on the head because I've been doing a bit of everything you just described. My main role here in Barbados now is taking care of women's cricket. I'm pretty much responsible for everything women's cricket and just making sure that the women's game has the support that it needs and we're able to grow the game and we're able to get more girls interested in being a part of the game.
Favorite role at the moment?
I'm struggling with that one. I do love commentating, of course, because that's sitting in the AC and not in the sun. I don't particularly miss running around in the sun. So I love sharing my analysis on the game. But I'm also enjoying my new role at BC as well. And I do enjoy whenever I get the opportunity to coach. So I've done that a bit recently, especially preparing our under-19 girls for the CWI under-19 Women's Championship. That is going to be starting next week in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so this show we've been talking a lot of things World Cup related, T20 cricket. Obviously, this is the men's side of the game. You were along when the men and the women played alongside each other. I always ask the guys, how has the T20 game evolved? From the female perspective, how have you seen the T20 game evolve? Yeah,
probably more greatly than the men's game. I remember a few years ago when teams were able to defend perhaps 120 in women's cricket. Now we're seeing teams scoring 160 and above. Unfortunately for West Indies, we struggle to score above 150 consistently, and perhaps that's why we've not seen the results that we would have expected after winning that 2016 World Cup. But yeah, the women's game has grown tremendously, and I'm happy to see how much it has grown and how much more support it has been able to garner as well.
Yeah, support with the likes of yourself. I'll attribute some of that West Indies batting to very fine bowling. Speaking of bowling, we're talking seam bowling today. We did a masterclass with Kemar Roach, West Indies international fast bowler. Let's see what he had to share with Sam.
First thing I want to know, your seam position for your stop delivery.
Yeah, so my stop delivery, obviously, I'm a little different to most guys. Most guys tend to hold the ball close on the seam like that, but I'm more a little wider because I like to have control. I think the wider the grip a little bit, you control better, you control the ball better. You get less movement though, but I think there's enough movement there, but it's better control. So I give myself the best chance to put the ball in the right area as much as possible. So slightly a little wider on the outside white lines of the seam, slightly a little wider, and it's just about the bottom finger, just control right on the middle, which gives, that's like the rudder. On a boat, you have a rudder, so that's the rudder. So you once that is in place and steady in place in the middle, then you can have control in terms of where you want to put the ball most often than not.
And do you feel like having that grip there's less movement off the seam when it lands?
No, I think it's actually there's more movement on the seam. Okay. I think you hit the seam more often because it's wider, so it's more control in terms of like your release. So you release the ball, you back spin the ball like that. So obviously the seam comes up pretty much steady, so you hit the seam more often than not. Some guys hold it tighter and it works for them, but it's all about what's comfortable for you. So, but what I've learned is that when they hold the ball a little closer, you get more movement in terms of swing in the air. So I like to give myself the best chance in terms of seam movement with a little wider grip. I obviously hit the seam as much as possible and get some more movement.
And do you feel like you get more value from the seam rather than the swing?
Yeah, for me, I think really good batsmen, they can pick up the ball when it swings early. So like guys that are like very steady and very like early in their triggers, they can pick up the ball when it swings and they can adjust easier. I think when the ball seams, it's like if you pitch the ball close to you, some guys don't know where it's going left or right. Nice. Sometimes the bowler doesn't even know sometimes. So if you can put the ball like in a good area with some seam movement, I think it's harder for batsmen to play.
Yeah, and how have you found that Surrey, like quite a flat deck? Do you get much from that pitch?
I'll be honest with you, Surrey pitches have improved. I've played cricket all over the UK, and I think I've had some of the better pitches at Surrey. I guess it's a makeup of our side. We have very good fast bowlers in the team, so the grounds may obviously put a little bit more grass and stuff on it. But I think the pitches at Surrey has definitely improved in terms of fast bowling, and I've got a lot of rewards there playing for Surrey, obviously with the red ball. The Duke ball does a lot in England too, and there's a higher seam and stuff, so it gives you a better grip. It falls between your fingers much better. So I think I like playing at Surrey, man. The green pitches and bowling down world is very much easy.
Nice. And then in terms of swinging, do you ever try? Right, I'm gonna scrap that seam and I'm gonna try and swing the ball.
Okay.
Do you ever? So, you know, I'm going to swing out, I'm going to swing in.
Yeah,
Do you have
so for me, if I'm going to swing the ball, I tend to obviously tighten my grip a little bit, fingers a little bit closer, and then in terms of where I want the ball to go. So if I want the ball to outswing to the right-hander, I angle the seam a little bit, pointed towards slips, and then you just release the same way. The same way you release, get that back spin on the ball, and then that gives you a rotation, and then the ball tends to go away from the right-hander. Obviously for the left, for the in swing for the right-hander now, I tilt the seam the next way, pointing towards the batsman more, and the same thing. Back spin on the ball, and you get a rotation on the ball, and it goes into the right-hander. That's it.
Nice.
Simple.
And what about slow ball? Do you have? What's your variation on the slow ball?
Well, I play a lot more red cricket, so I don't really bowl as much slow ball as possible, but I just tend to hold it wider, and I just pull on this right finger. I just try to pull over on the seam just to get that off spin rotation onto the ball, obviously with a variation of speed. Some guys do it the other way, and they go the net side of the way. That's like cutting the ball. That's a slower ball. So like, it's all about what is comfortable and what you're best at. This is probably harder for most guys to bowl. That one.
I used to try it out the back of the hand, and actually it's weird because it does work. Like, and I don't know where it's going, but it does land nicely.
If you land it good, it's actually one of the best. I think Jane Durbat had one of the better slow balls like that. He was very good at that.
It's almost like a leg spinner when it lands. That one always sort of away,
so it deceives the batsman. It's one of the hardest slow balls to bowl, but it's one of the most deceptive ones as well.
An insightful masterclass from Kemar Roach. We caught up with Jason Holder to tap into his memories of that 2016 World Cup finals.
So, we stay on theme, pinnacles and championships. Championship moment for you, 2016. Take us back there. What are your memories of that World Cup?
Look, I was so engrossed in the game. It was something where I didn't even know if other bowlers had overs, but I saw Stokes pick the ball up. Obviously, I didn't play the game. And I saw Stokes pick the ball up with 19 runs, and I said to myself, look, we're still in with a chance here, you know? Because I felt with the Eden Garden, Stokes being the competitor that he is, I knew he wasn't necessarily going to bowl wide, and I knew he was going to come into Carlos's art, and it would just be skill v skill. You know, and unfortunately his skills weren't up to Carlos's skills on that particular day. He missed his length on 4 occasions. And yeah, Carlos's heroics would always live with me as easily one of the best moments I've ever had playing cricket. Again, I wasn't like hands-on and involved in the game, but I felt that way. You know, and I just remember everybody just storming onto the field after Carlos hit the final 6, arms in arrays, and just, you know, it's just one of those feelings that when you think back, it just gives you goosebumps, man. Easily one of the proudest moments I've had as a West Indian, and yeah, hopefully we can have that more success going forward, maybe in the longer format, and still definitely in the shorter formats as well. I think West Indies is a proud region, and I think the people would love to see a lot more championships won here in the Caribbean.
Good conversation. Shakera, a beautiful year for West Indies cricket. What are your memories of the 2016 World Cup?
Yeah, indeed, it was perhaps the greatest year of West Indies cricket. Well, as much as I remember. Remember the under-19 boys won, and then the women's team was very fortunate to win as well. And I remember being in the stands. I was privileged, actually, to be in the stands for that game when West Indies took on England. And we were all nervous coming on to the end, as I'm sure everyone was who were glued to the TVs. And when Carlos hit the first, I think it was after the second 6, that we knew we were going to win it. And we were all scrambling to get out of a packed stadium at Eden Gardens. I remember the security trying to stop us at first, and then eventually deciding, let's just keep up with them. The security had to chase down the stairs with us, and we sprinted onto the field when Carlos hit that final boundary. It was really good. It was exciting. It was an exciting moment for all of the Caribbean, but especially for the 2 teams that were there in the Garden that night.
the after party?
Well, I'm not much of a partier, but we did enjoy ourselves. The ladies and the men, they all enjoyed each other's company and celebrated the wins back at the hotel. And it was a night to remember. I don't remember if we actually slept that night.
We spoke about pace a lot on this show. Recently, we caught up with Jomel Warrican to recount his memories of dismissing Rohit Sharma.
All right, so happy thoughts now, happy moments. Speaking of plans, you mentioned Sharma, you mentioned Virat Kohli. Port of Spain 2023.
Yeah.
Take me through the wickets of Jaiswal and Sharma.
So it started from Dominica test. I got Gill out, but Sharma never looked comfortable against me, and I always felt it was in with a chance, and I knew just beating his bat, just missing off stump. So I kept talking to the analyst. I said, I feel just got to come a slight bit closer to middle and leg to just hit that off stump. But as it goes back, as we said before now, the track in Dominica was really assisting us a lot. So to something you overcompensate and you get too straight something. But I find in Trinidad now, the track was the right amount of variation of the wicket was perfect. So I could have found it perfectly. So I remember telling the analyst I can hit or hit off stump just because how he split forward. You know, he just covered the lane, the ball, he don't follow it. So he trusts that the ball was going to spin past the bat and beat the off stump. So when I hit the off stump now, it was like, it's great to see that you thought of something, you planned it out, you practiced it, and you execute it. That was an extremely good feeling. And Rohit Sharma is someone that I love to see bat as well, and someone that I say, you know what, one of these days I must get him out, and I will get him out, and it did happen. And just how I planned it in my head, and it did happen. Just the build up from the Dominica test, it didn't happen in Dominica test. I came to the test in Trinidad and get it done. It was a great feeling.
India versus England, semi-finals in Guyana. England have a chance to repeat history. India have a chance to make history at the Kensington Oval in Barbados. Who will be the winner? Shakera, India versus England. Predictions.
Yeah, it's so hard to predict. T20 is so short. So I'm always scared or skeptical to predict a T20 format. But I'll say perhaps India going in as favorites because they're playing in Guyana. You would expect the ball to turn through that farm spinners. They could be a lot to handle for England.
All right, let me pick your analyst brain. 3 left-hand spinners, they obviously are batters in the game. If you had to take your top picks for people who will perform well with the bat and with the ball, who would they be?
Yeah, first obvious pick is Josh Butler. He's really good at sweeping. So if he could get off to a good start and then he's there to face the spinners, I think he could really negate the impact that they could have in Guyana. On the India side, I'd probably go with Yadav. I think Sky has been batting really well and he's also been sweeping well. If he can sweep Adil Rashid and then take on Jofra Archer or maybe Mark Wood if he plays, I think we could have a good contest.
Well, boy, with my predictions, guys, we just have to wait and see. Shakera, so nice of you to join me. Many, many thanks, especially to take time out your busy schedule and you have to scurry off to coach your young ladies.
Yeah, thanks. A pleasure being here.
Pleasure indeed. So, guys, catch us again on the T20 Daily. Same time, same place. Harbour Lights, beautiful Bridgetown, Barbados, loads of sunshine. Jamal Smith, signing out.